Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Say that this is normal, your first time, but you've had this date lodged in your mind. You keep going through the motions, even though your heart is in an ocean.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Another Day, and it's taken from the sophomore project of the duo Earth to Aaron, which is called Strange Notion. They've released a project before, simply titled Earth to Aaron, and both of those projects are available wherever you get your music. You can also learn more about them as musicians by going to their website at earthtoaaron.com. That's earth2aaron.com. The duo will be performing at the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown, on Sunday, February 2nd, 2025, starting at 11 a.m. So be sure to head over there to see a live performance from this duo consisting of husband and wife, Aaron and Sarah White.
I'm ready for the future, the rest of our lives, but I'm scared to lose track of time. You keep going through the motions, even though your heart is in an ocean. Do-do-do-do-do, there's still time. There's still time. I guess we'll have to wait another day.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to another segment brought to you by Maryann Rosen for the Mountaineer Podcast, where we bring you stories from all across the Peak to Peak area. I'm really excited to bring you this particular segment in anticipation for Groundhog Day. But before we get into that, I have two promotional announcements for the Mountaineer. First, if you haven't subscribed to the Mountaineer yet, and you're looking for something new to subscribe to in 2025, we highly recommend that you subscribe to us to support us and local journalism as a whole. You can head to the mtnear.com and find the subscribe button in the top right corner of our website. And if you subscribe, you'll have full access to our digital archive. You can read scanned copies of the physical newspaper, or you can receive a physical newspaper subscription in your mailbox or send it to the mailbox of someone that you love. Subscribe today by heading to the mtnear.com. And if you've never subscribed before, be sure to stay tuned to the end of this episode for a special discount specifically for Mountaineer Podcast listeners. And the second quick thing is another message brought to you by the Mountaineer.
Are you interested in advertising? The Mountaineer has advertising in print on our website, through our social media. We have 3 guides each year, coupon insertions, and more. Want more information? Email marketing@themountaineer.com or give Bethany a call at 720-960-2900.
All right, that's enough preliminary announcements from me. Take it away, Maryann.
This is the Mountaineer Podcast, and I'm Maryann Rosen, bringing you history, lore, or stories from or about the mountains you live in. Keeping in the same vein as my last story, this week's story is also somewhat related to weather, along with some wildlife particulars as well. With the cold and precipitation of winter upon us, many people look forward to the more temperate climate of spring. Meteorological spring begins on March 1st, while the astronomical beginning is this year on March 20th, the spring or vernal equinox, when day and night are nearly equal. For centuries, cultures have looked to animal behaviors to attempt to determine exactly when that spring weather would arrive. Thousands of years ago, ancient Celts and pagans celebrated February 1st and 2nd as Imbolc, one of the spokes of the earth's natural wheel. Still observed by some today, Imbolc is a pastoral festival that honored the Celtic goddess of fertility and fire and was a feast of purification for farmers. After the Christianization of Europe, the festival also became the feast day of St. Bridget. Around this time of year, as in other seasons, Celts looked to weather clues found in animal behaviors. The ancient Germanic people would observe the behaviors of badgers, a stocky, masked, omnivorous mammal who is part of the weasel family. When the Pennsylvania Dutch came to America in the 18th and 19th century, they adopted the tradition using a groundhog instead of a badger, and thus began the custom of Groundhog Day on February 2nd. Groundhogs are common to the eastern part of the United States. Also known as woodchucks and whistle pigs, they are the largest member of the squirrel family. Groundhogs are cat-sized rodents with short legs, a bushy tail, and fur of various shades of brown. They hibernate in winter, but when up and about, they are herbivores who are active during the day, relaxing in the sun when not feeding. They change habitats from open fields in the spring and summer and head to wooded areas in autumn. They eat plants like clover and love crops, especially corn. Groundhogs are very adaptive, coming back to the same places that have provided them with plenty of food and suitable shelter in the past. Though they may eat crops, groundhogs also aerate the soil. Groundhogs are good swimmers and climbers and live up to 3 years in the wild. They have many predators, including coyotes, wolves, golden eagles, great horned owls, timber rattlesnakes, and red-tailed hawks. If you do not want to keep them in your garden and you want them to go away, groundhogs do not like the following: thyme, rosemary, oregano, chives, and lemon balm. So, plant those herbs. Back to observing these animals for weather indications. When the Pennsylvania Dutch brought the animal tradition to the United States, they believed in a superstition that stated, if a groundhog emerges from its burrow on February 2nd and sees its shadow, it will go back into its den for 6 more weeks. If it does not see its shadow, spring will arrive early. Even with the 6 full weeks of winter continuing, that is only March 16th, not long after the March 1st meteorological spring, and still prior to the astronomical one. The earliest mention of Groundhog Day was found in a diary entry written by a Welsh-American storekeeper in Pennsylvania in 1840. The first official Groundhog Day was held on February 2nd, 1887, in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, by a group of businessmen as a publicity stunt for the town. Thus, Punxsutawney Phil was born. At daybreak on February 2nd, Punxsutawney Phil, a groundhog, is awakened from his burrow on Gobbler's Knob by his handlers and is placed on a stump to make his prognostication. The event is based upon a communal, light-hearted suspension of disbelief which extends to the assertion that the same groundhog has been making projections since the 19th century. Punxsutawney Phil is perhaps the most famous of the animals making predictions on February 2nd. But what about here in Colorado and the peak-to-peak area, where there are no groundhogs? Well, we have what some say is a cooler version than a groundhog, and that is the cute and fuzzy denizen of the state's high country, the yellow-bellied marmot. Marmots live at elevations of 6,500 to 13,500 feet above sea level. Yellow-bellied marmots are the largest ground squirrels in Colorado, and they are related to groundhogs. Marmots are heavy-set, grizzled brown mammals with a yellowish chin. They are found in high country habitats, alpine meadows, and lower foothills, all parts of the ecosystem of the peak-to-peak region. They are relatives of prairie dogs who also call Colorado home. Both are rodents and share many characteristics, including both being part of the Marmot tribe, which also includes groundhogs and chipmunks. It is the marmot, though, who gets the nod when looking for weather signs. Marmots live in burrows and are world-class hibernators, spending their winters from September to mid-April or early May in underground dens. Marmots are very social and charismatic animals, usually doing one of the following three things: lying on a rock in the sun, playing with their friends, or eating. It is definitely a good life. Marmots are the chubby epitome of someone living in paradise. Eating and napping, minimal stress, and maximum mellowness. Their vocalizations are sophisticated, ranging from one loud, piercing note to staccato chirps, each having their own message and meaning. The animals' distinctive whistles echo off of their rocky layers as they sound the alarm about potential danger. Eating grasses, flowering plants, other plants, bugs, and carrion, marmots chow down with a purpose, consuming all that they can, increasing their body weight by 30 to 40% so that they have enough fat to live off of and survive their 7 to 8 month snooze fest. Predators include the coyote, bobcat, golden eagle, hawks, owls, weasels, and martins. However, predation probably is a less important cause of mortality than is the stress of hibernation, as marmots are usually protected by a rocky habitat and a social system of alarm calls. During hibernation, up to half of their summer weight is lost, and animals with insufficient fat, or a burrow too shallow to prevent freezing, or predators, do not arouse in the spring. Marmots know how to manipulate humans and are very smart and can be very cute. Since they are wild animals, one should avoid feeding them. Eating foods from humans can also be dangerous to a marmot. Their health, as food given by humans often has the wrong kind of fats, which can then cause starvation during hibernation. Although there are no marmots foretelling the coming of spring specifically in the peak-to-peak, there are a couple within an hour of Central City, with one of those also being only a half an hour from Nederland. In Aurora, Colorado, Stormy the Marmot makes its predictions on February 2nd. In Boulder, Flat Iron Freddy is a stuffed marmot so as not to have to awaken a live one. Flatiron Freddy makes his Groundhog Day, or should we say Marmot Day, forecast on the 2nd. The event is hosted by the City of Boulder Open Space and Mountain Parks Rangers and is held at the Chautauqua Ranger Cottage. Flatiron Freddy has appeared in many ways, including by canoe, fire engine, bobsled, skis, and zip lines. In lieu of the 6 weeks or less spring prophecy, there are many here who surmise that any marmot in the area would actually say, "Are you crazy? It's February here in Colorado. I give winter at least 12 more weeks." That timeline does bring us to the end of April and a time when marmots may naturally awaken. Whenever spring weather does arrive, when marmots and groundhogs foresee an early spring, studies show that March is typically 6 degrees warmer and April is 3 degrees warmer. So will marmots in Colorado see their shadow? Will the groundhogs back east? Whether spring arrives 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 12 weeks after February 2nd, well, we have no control over that. We here in the Peak to Peak can, however, enjoy the beautiful winter days that we have and look forward to the lovely spring ones to come. Happy Groundhog, or should I say, Marmot Day. Listen in next time to the Mountain Ear Podcast for more mountain history, lore, or stories. I'm Maryann Rosen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Maryann, for bringing us another great segment. And happy early Groundhog Day to everybody. I'll be back in a couple of days with our regular Music of the Mountains segment of the Mountaineer Podcast. But in the meantime, if you like this episode and you want to share this or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to the mtnear.com and scroll near to the bottom, or head to our podcast's main hub at the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com for a full archive of all of our episodes that you can share along as you please. If you want to be involved in the podcast in any way, shape, or form, if you want to come onto the podcast, if you want to bring somebody else on the podcast, if you have advertising that you want us to put on the podcast, whatever it is, if you're involved in the Peak to Peak area and you want to be involved in the Mountaineer Podcast, then contact me at media@themountaineer.com and we'll get something sorted for you. You can even send us a text by heading to the individual episode description of any of our episodes and let us know what you thought of a particular episode, the podcast as a whole, etc., etc. I'll see you guys in a couple of days for our regular Music of the Mountains episode. Have a great rest of your day!
Your love and I won't take no anymore. That old answer will not work. I see your eyes and I know you're the kind of love that make the days go by slow.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Strange Notion. It's the title track from the sophomore album of the duo Earth to Aaron. They've released one full-length project before, their self-titled project, Earth to Aaron, and you can stream both of those releases wherever you get your music. You can also learn more about them as musicians by going to their website at earthtoaaron.com. That's earth2aaron.com. Earth to Aaron will be performing at the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown, on Sunday, February 2nd, 2025, starting at 11 a.m. So be sure to head over there to see husband and wife duo Aaron and Sarah White performing as Earth to Aaron.
My eyes have ever seen. Love is all around. My heart is singing loud. Baby, give me all your love. like the well needs water. Strange notion, want you love again.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.